Hello all my fabulous future filmmakers. I'm so excited to be presenting this video to you guys today because, as many of you may already know, I'm finally done with my film opening titled 11:59. Today I will go through and analyze some of my film opening with you guys while going over some of the most commonly asked questions about it. The first topic I will be discussing is, drumroll please, genre. So the first question is, how does your film opening use or challenge conventions and how does it represent social groups and issues? Now let's break that down a bit. Some of you are probably wondering what conventions even are. Conventions are all about genre. It's the element you use to create the sense of drama. Now, when I began my project, I might not have had a solid idea of what exactly I wanted my video to be about, but as you can see in my numerous blogs where I changed my idea, I definitely knew that I wanted to use the coming of age genre. Coming of age is a genre that gives the viewer a sort of sentimental value and nostalgia. This is exactly what I wanted to convey. Coming of age movies generally include a happy exposition, then move on to the escalation leading up to the conflict. Then after that we see conflict and finally the resolution. My film opening clearly represents this as it begins with the happy exposition of Taylor coming home from school and opening her computer to find meaningless homework assignments. However, when she opened her computer, that's not what she found. Now for the escalation, she instead found her psychology project that was due that night at 11:59. For the conflict, her friend Maddie gets angry with her for not doing her part in the project. However, like always, Taylor comes to the rescue and finishes her project by the right due date at March 13th at 11:59. An older movie like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and a new movie like The Edge of 17 helped me greatly in developing the overall concept of 11:59. Ferris Bueller's Day Off especially helped me create Taylor's personality. Like Ferris, she's very last minute and doesn't care much about her actions until the second they begin affecting others. In her case, her friend Maddie, whose grade she sacrificed for her own part-time benefit, and in Ferris's case when he stole his best friend's father's very expensive car. This is a huge part of coming-of-age films and how they represent teenagers. They say that teenagers are lazy and only care about themselves. Being a teenager myself, I completely see through that and just don't agree in the slightest. So in a way, Taylor represents that, but she also doesn't. Now, she appears lazy to the naked eye because she didn't want to do her final project until just a few hours before it was due, even though it affected her friend Maddie. However, I challenge this convention because Taylor is the exact opposite of lazy. We may not know this now in the opening, but inside that huge backpack of Taylor's holds the homework of 3 AP and ACE classes, which she also has to complete. So she's not waiting till the last minute per se, she's simply having an issue balancing her time evenly. I wanted to make sure that the film opening doesn't just represent Taylor as a lazy, obnoxious teenager, but rather a hard-working one who just needs to get her priorities in check. The Edge of 17 also represents how Taylor is just trying to live in her world of her own, just like Nadine in the movie. Both Taylor and Nadine are just trying to get through school, Nadine having issues with her social life and Taylor having issues with her own punctuality. In many coming-of-age movies, teenagers wake up and are greeted with this huge breakfast that they always tend to deny for absolutely no good reason, or when they get home from school, they're greeted by their parents or housekeeper who's just about ready to do anything that the teenager may ask. I decided to skew away from that, as we can see when Taylor opens the door to an empty household. This doesn't have any huge underlying meaning to it, I simply just don't want the film to be too cliché or too predictable, which is something I do not like for most coming-of-age films. Of course, my film opening does not challenge the convention relating to how the main characters look. Many coming-of-age films surround ditzy blonde teenagers who are just trying to find their way around their lives. This is exactly what Taylor is. She also has a common and generic full name, Taylor Fullman, just like that of Elle Woods or Regina George. Don't they look similar too? Now, this brings me to my next question. How does your film opening engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? The only way of engaging with any audience is by establishing the target audience first. This is the most important step, as those are the people who are most likely to interact in a positive manner with your piece of media. The film is about Taylor Fullman, a teenager who is a parody of me, so I only felt that it would be necessary to have the target audience be people like me too. I chose to have teenagers around the ages of 14 to 19, any gender, who are students. People of these demographics are most likely to relate to Taylor and how she feels consumed by her workload. I decided to stick with the average target audience age range of coming-of-age films as I thought that it would relate nicely to my story. Now, I'm only an amateur filmmaker, so it would be pretty difficult to distribute my film in something as grand as a movie theater. So I've decided to think way smaller than that. YouTube, of course, is a great way to distribute my video to my target audience, as it's a very popular social media for them. But besides social media, smaller film festivals may be a great method too. Festivals like the Sarasota Film Festival and Outshine Miami are great festivals to submit my opening to. They're more local and a great way to get exposure. Alright, well, that's all for today's Q&A session. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe or hit that notification bell to see my upcoming videos. I'll see you next time, my future fabulous filmmakers.